I'm so tired of people saying that it's just a movie, it's just a comic book, it's just a TV show. Whatever. No, it's not. Stories are the building blocks of our culture, of ourselves, even of our own psychology. We are a product of the stories we tell ourselves about our own past and the experiences on a daily basis, but also the stories that we choose to spend time with. What types of values or feelings or whatever are they promoting? What types that we like to spend our time around? They're going to shape us. They're going to shape our personality and character, and they're going to shape our perception of the world and the acts and behaviors that we put out into the world. And people don't understand that. They go, it's just a movie. It's just this. I can like and promote whatever I want. Well, of course you can, but you should pay attention to the responsibility that you have.
Consume stories responsibly.
As a member of society, as a human being, responsibility to yourself.
Consider the consequences.
You need some balance. You need some certain criteria that is going to make sure you're promoting the right kind of works, or at least have thought through the type of work that this or that story is going to do in our culture, and then make your own decision whether or not that's something you want to support.
Consume stories responsibly. Consider the consequences. Consume stories responsibly.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully I'm not coming in too hot. Hopefully all is well. I meant to do a test stream tonight so that Sound Engraver could give me the okay on it, but I forgot to do that. So actually I was napping and forgot to do that. But audio works. Good. Great. Good enough. Good enough. Got some sinuses going on, so I'll try not to cough or snort and all that stuff too much. Can't catch a break. We caught a little cold last week. It was just a cold, though. Just one of those annoying colds. And when I get a cold, it's just annoying. You know, I'm not bedridden. It's not like the bronchitis we had that one time, you know. Poor Sound Engraver, though. Sound Engraver's like, if she's going to get sick, she's going to get sick. She's going to be bedridden at least a day or two. Poor thing. But hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys had a gearing up for Christmas here coming up this week. We went to Mass tonight, and I was like, it's the last Mass of Advent. You know, in just a few days, we've got the Christmas Day is here. So it's been a good season. I've really been enjoying my full holiday break just set in this past week. Now I'm fully on break for a couple of weeks with just like nothing that I have to do work-wise. And I haven't felt this way in forever. It's very, very rare that I get those breaks. So I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I am just vegging out, playing games, reading, doing a lot of great reading. I'm going to give a lot of great reviews tonight. I have been playing Batman Arkham Origins, and I tried to stream it. I've got the Elgato stream card. It's an HD Elgato stream card. It's one of the newest models, which doesn't work with PS3. Why would they make that easy and, ridiculous anyway? So I was trying to stream. I went ahead and through the PS Plus or whatever, streamed Arkham Origins through my PS4. But I can't get the software in Elgato to actually recognize the game and stream it through. I can record it. We can capture it fine. But I can't. It's a pain in the butt. Elgato is really great technology, but they suck at customer service. There's very little how-tos or, no real good resources to go to for when things don't work. And the software is very non-intuitive. And it's just, you gotta just get in there and just figure things out on your own. It's very crappy software. I'll eventually get it, but it was too late for this season. But I did capture some gameplay, and I think I'm going to talk about that a little bit later and probably put it out as its own video or something, maybe this week. So let me go ahead and welcome the chat, though, first. I've just been busting into my talk. Nathaniel Zalozball, good to see you there first. Ghost Planet Max Inc., welcome, welcome. Private Eye in Retrospectiva, Dr. Y, good to see you there. Imaginative Hobbyist, Stephen M. Omega, Studio 96 Films, Electric Barbarella, great to see you. Malwinus Cyrano, Leia Plus Size, good to have you there. And many, many more. Of course, my dear sweet Sound Engraver, giving me the audio check. Someone was saying, I got a super chat here right out the gate. Studio Super, or Studio 96 Films, sorry. Thank you for the super chat. Said I re-edited the Superman trailer with different color grading and music, but not sure if I should upload it. James Gunn and Warner Brothers copyright strike. Would they copyright strike you, or would they just give you or would they just take all the proceeds? Warner Brothers in the past, whenever I've shown a little clip of a movie and tried, fair use and like that. I mean, not like shown a clip just right there, but showed images, even just images from a film, and talked over it. They snatch it up in a heartbeat. And they don't copyright strike me, but they'll take any revenue that video is for them. Video stays up, but they get all the ad revenue from that video. It's really they're horrible. But hang on, gonna blow my nose again. I think I should have taken some Dayquil. Let me mute so you don't have to hear this beautiful noise. I muted before I said, let me go ahead and stop the cam so you don't have to watch that wonderful image. I'll be back in a second. Okay, sorry about that. I took some Dayquil because I was reading tonight at Mass. I was lecturing, and I think it ran out of my system. So I'm fine, though. No worries, just a little stuffy. Or not the opposite of stuffy, running. Anyway, nothing that you need to know. Pleasant, right? But, yeah, you brought up the Superman trailer. That trailer is such trash. And I am astounded at the mental gymnastics that people are trying to do to make it seem like that trailer's okay. No, it's okay. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Now, if you're just a James Gunn fan and you love his movies, I understand how you would be like, no, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. If you're a Superman fan, though, if you're a traditional Superman fan, I don't see how you can get on board with this trailer. And I'm just talking about the trailer, right? The teaser trailer. It was crap, and people need to stand up and say it was crap. In a world where Superman has been dragged through the mud with the Snyderverse, and that was a rough, deconstructing, garbage take. We need bright, hopeful Superman, right? They released the poster. It was still him in that garbage flight suit that's not the real super suit, but at least they released a poster. He was, upwards, and they were doing the John Williams music and all that stuff. Right now in this cultural moment, if you want to introduce us to your new take on Superman, you need to show us bright, hopeful, competent, joyful, inspiring heroism. That's what you need to show us. James Gunn said, nah, screw that. I'm going to show Superman getting his butt kicked. And then I'm going to show people mad at him and throwing stuff at him. And I'm going to show it really bleak and other heroes having to come in and protect him. And I'm going to show him can't even get up and walk. He's got to have his dog bring him home. He's so bloody and dirty. What the F are you smoking, James Gunn? What the hell are you thinking? I'm sorry. It pisses me off so much. And people are defending him for this crap. I've heard the most ridiculous explanations for, well, the people who are throwing things at him, they represent the Snyder fans, and he's actually being very meta here, and no, he's being stupid is what he's being. I heard his explanation of it too, him coming out and saying, well, Superman beat up, that represents the state of America right now because we're all pretty beaten up, and we want to be good, but you stupid fool. Superman does not represent. He's not a symbol for America. He's what leads us. He's what helps America become better. He's the spirit of America in terms of what we hope we could be, all the things we aspire to. You don't show him screwed up and failed and beaten up, and because that's just like a commentary on our state right now. Screw you, James Gunn. You don't understand the character. And how are people... It all boils down to this. People just want to be excited for something. And some of the people, and I've talked to some people, not even just on YouTube, but like friends in real life who are just Superman fans, are like, look, I went through so much negativity with the Snyderverse and stuff, and it just feels good to be excited about something. Superman deserves better than that. Superman deserves better than just your blind excitement, just choosing to be excited about something. This movie is crap, or this trailer is crap. Let me be very clear. James Gunn's trying to please everybody. I guarantee you the next teaser trailer will be all of that hopeful, bright, happy, funny stuff. I guarantee you. Because he wants to please everybody. He's very cognitive of Snyder Bros who are ticked off that, that it was taken away from their boy Cavill. And so he's going to try and please them a little bit. So we get some darkness with serious grit, and it's serious, guys. We're translating this for a modern audience. It looked awful in every way, and I've heard no defense that made any sense. I've heard everybody trying their best to explain it this way or explain it that way, or what he was trying to do. Screw that. He had one job: show us bright, hopeful. We haven't had that in forever with Superman on the big screen. We need it. We need it now. He could have shown it to us, and he didn't. He dropped the ball. The suit, the ugly, butt ugly suit, whatever. If it was still bright, hopeful, true blue Superman, I'd overlook the suit in a heartbeat. I mean, I was willing to overlook the Superman Returns suit, because there are issues I have with that when the movie came out. And the trailer was, but that's another example. Hollywood just can't get it right. Superman Returns was supposed to be a return to the bright and this was the post 9/11 world, and they were supposed to give us the real deal Superman coming back, inspired by the Donner film and all that stuff. And Bryan Singer and his writers were like, they had some moments of that. Great casting in Superman, but then they just did these weird things that Superman would never do. And like, no, do you understand the character in his universe? And what was the lesson they learned from that? Well, okay, so the Donner inspiration doesn't work, so let's go the opposite direction. And then they gave us, Hobo Man of Steel, just deconstructed the snot out of him and made him a crap garbage character. And then you're finally going to swing back the other way, put the John Williams music in there, maybe make us think that you're doing something right. No, you're not. And those of us who've been following James Gunn and hearing the things he says about the character, it's no surprise to us. We know you don't understand the character. He said he did not want to do a Superman movie because he just didn't get the character. He just didn't connect with him, didn't like the character until he stumbled on this idea of Superman divided between his Kryptonian heritage and his Earth upbringing. And that was his in to the character. And that was his in and how he was able to write the story. Superman is not divided one little bit. There's no division in his, psyche or loyalties or whatever. He's Earth. He's from Earth. That's as far as Superman's concerned. He's Earth. He's a man. He's an American. He's a Kansas boy raised by Ma and Pa Kent from Smallville. That's his identity to the core. When in all the good stories and all the good tellings, when he finds out about his Kryptonian heritage, he's deeply respectful of it. He respects what his parents, the sacrifice they made. He learns about it and all of that. Doesn't change who he is, though. He is Ma and Pa Kent's boy from Kansas, America. He's from Earth. He's super in that he can do things, but he's a man. That's his identity. That's the core of the character. There's no conflict. There's no division. And James Gunn doesn't get it. And James Gunn has got so many people just determined to like this movie, and they play it. They're creating a false binary. I did that video talking about the problems with the trailer, and I can't tell you how many people jumped in the comments originally. Oh, you Snyder Bros are all the same. You just want it to be like. I'm like, did you just call me a Snyder Bro? Like that kind of straw manning, right? If you don't like the trailer, you're just a Snyder Bro. That was the exact same thing the Snyder Bros did. If you don't like, Zack Snyder's movies, you're just stuck in the past, and you just can't have anything other than the Donner movie. So somebody in the comments called them the James Gunn meat writers. That's hilarious. I don't know if I'm not exactly going to use that as it sticks, but that's what it seems like, right? It's just people who blindly, James Gunn's our hero. they're just blindly for this. They just want to be excited about something. Come on, can't you just let us be excited? No, I'm going to do the same thing I always do. Hold you up to accountability. And a horrible teaser trailer, and it was a calculated move on James Gunn's part. Remember, there was news coming out about how he was, not releasing the teaser trailer yet because he was very involved in this, and he wanted to make it just so. He chose for the first live action image for you to see of his Superman was him defeated, barely able to walk, and then flashes of everyone kicking his butt, mad at him. Where's the inspiration? Where's the hero? Well, it's not all that. Well, then you shut up and get out of here because you don't know how to tell a Superman story. That's just plain and simple. Hollywood has no clue who this character is. Warner Brothers has no clue who this character Superman is. They can't handle it. They keep giving the job to people who've done other superhero films that have nothing to do or in no way can even remotely connect to Superman. And that's why they do it. And I'm not saying that you have to have done a Superman-like movie in order to do Superman. I mean, Richard Donner had done The Omen, for crying out loud, but he was able to do Superman. But Richard Donner didn't get the job of Superman because he'd done The Omen, right? Tim Burton got Superman because he'd done Batman. Bryan Singer got Superman because he'd done the X-Men. They wanted Chris Nolan to do Superman because he'd done Batman, and then he didn't want to do it, so they're like, well, let's get that guy who did The Watchmen. That's the same thing. Watchmen, Superman. And now they give it to the guy who did Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy. Hollywood has no clue who this character is. Warner Brothers does not even remotely know this character. And I think if they they either don't know the character or they're ashamed of the character. Anybody who in Warner Brothers execs who might really understand the character are totally ashamed of the character. They don't want a character who's really truly aspirational and good, and that was all hokey and cheesy. Leave that in the 70s and 80s. Come on, we need a darker, serious take. And I lost respect for so many people. I mean, it's one thing if you're like, I don't agree with this by any means, but I would at least have more respect for somebody who says, yeah, teaser trailer, I don't know. I'm still hoping the film might be better. At least admit the teaser trailer was crap. Now, put together 2 and 2 with the things James Gunn has said about it and the things he's showing us, and I can't see how this film is going to be all that much better. It's going to be some member berries. Oh, they're going to hurl the member berries in your face. It's going to be like a Spider-Man No Way Home, hurling member berries at you for left and right. And people are going to love this movie. They're going to love this movie because too many people have already decided to love this movie. They've already decided that this movie's great. And as I said in my review of the trailer, my immediate reaction to the teaser trailer, yeah, check out the grifter channels, the Fandom Menace. They're going to be all for this movie. They're going to decide to like this movie. This is one they're going for. Many of them like Zack Snyder's Justice League, for crying out loud. So it's just, what does the world come to? I don't want a reboot. I don't want other people to come in and make a better Superman. I want Hollywood just to stop. Stop it, Hollywood. I wish, I'm going to be a little crass here, pardon me, but it's just the only way to say it. I wish fans had the balls to stand up and say no to Hollywood. But they don't. They gotta go see it. I gotta give it a try. I gotta go see it. I wish if people had the integrity and the fortitude to stand up and say, absolutely not, we're done with your crap. We're done with your crap, Hollywood. We're going to go look at the original tried and true blue wonderful stories. I don't need a new Superman story right now. There are so many great titles that I need to reread or haven't read yet. That's the only way Hollywood will learn. And I've been saying this forever, and no one gets it. No one gets it. They're not fans of Superman. They're not fans of Star Wars. They're not fans of Batman. They're fans of new content. That's really what it comes down to, the heart of it. Most fans, on social media, YouTube or whatever, they're just fans of new content. They're fans of being able to talk about the new content. They're fans of community. I know I'm just preaching my sermon that I go on all the time, but it's true, and no one gets it. No one gets it. No one's able to, I know many of you who come to my channel because I say this, you get it, you turn your back on this garbage nonsense. It's just, See, I was so mad when the trailer came out, and I thought, okay, I got it out of my system. It's done. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably mention a little bit of it on the stream, but nope. Sure enough, got me all riled up again. So, anyway. But yeah, just the insane things that people say to try to defend this trailer. It's just garbage. I just look at these people like, what are you even thinking right now? How can you even say that? Oh, it's just so stupid. People who claim to love Superman. Get out of here. Well, it just feels good to be excited about something. No, it shouldn't. Not if the thing you're excited about is crap. I better move on. I get so riled up and my throat's starting to get a little cracky. My dear sweet sound engraver, thank you for the super chat. Said, Superman cosplay with the ugliest suit. That suit is ridiculous. It's not hard. It's not hard. I remember somebody tweeted James Gunn before the suit reveal, and they're saying, oh, it should have this. Please let it have the trunks or whatever. He's like, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. No, it's very simple, James Gunn. It's very simple. You go back to the classic suit. That's it. That's it. Superman only needs one suit. Go back to the classic. Just get the Christopher Reeve suit, for crying out loud, for all I care, and put on him. There's nothing wrong with that suit. I mean, I've said before, you could update here, a little there if you really needed to, but you don't. Screw that. You don't need to update the suit. The suit is classic, it's timeless, it's iconic. We don't need it to look like a Guardians of the Galaxy flight suit. We don't need it a baggy, it just looks like mechanics overalls or whatever. We don't need the cape that comes to the shoulders, but not really stop it. Stop it with the little changes. Stop trying to imprint your little James Gunn stamp on it. I don't want to look at a movie. See, that's the thing. Somebody said in the comments of my last stream, and it was a brilliant comment. Such a good comment. He said, Hollywood, Warner Brothers keeps giving these films to the auteur filmmakers. And they keep wanting to make it their Superman movie, their Batman movie. Matt Reeves did the same thing with Batman. Screw that. Batman and Superman don't belong in the hands of an auteur. That's why Richard Donner was so brilliant with it, because look at the Richard Donner, the films he's made. Yes, he's a human being artist, so he's got a style or whatever, but he's done everything from The Omen to Loaded Gun to, Goonies. I mean, he's a very versatile, eclectic filmmaker, and he's not all about shoving his ego and putting his own little stamp on everything. I mean, you look at this Christopher Reeve Superman suit and compare that to George Reeves from the 50s. A little bit of changes maybe in the fabric style, or like maybe the slight hem of the waistline or whatever, but that's it. It's the same suit. No one thought, we gotta update it. We gotta change it up a little bit. Because it's perfect as is. They stop screwing around with the costume. Got me mad again, sound engraver. Oh, my throat. I'm not gonna be able to do the whole stream if I keep doing this. Got a super chat in here from Zachary Barron. Thank you so much for the $20. Man, that's very generous of you. Thank you. You say, hi, Prof. I commented on the Superman trailer video the other day. Just wanted to say you have been a huge inspiration for me as a comic book fan over the past 2 years from watching your channel. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Zachary. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your super chat there as well. That means a lot. I appreciate it. I really, for the longest time now, I've been talking about, even as you go back as far back as my Star Wars EU book studies, I've been trying to give people, or shine a spotlight at least, on a lot of great older stories. Because as I say, you don't need to go buy the new stuff. It's, it's very, chances are you're not going to get anything good, certainly out of Hollywood or whatever. And so I have been trying to, shine a light on the good stuff. And that's what I've got for you tonight. I got a stack of reviews here, some really solid stuff that's easy to find, that you can just enjoy. And I'm going to start with some Superman stuff. So yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But thank you so much, Zachary. I really appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the support. Hope you have a wonderful Merry Christmas as well. And I do remember your comment. I remember you talking about listening to me for about a year or so. So I appreciate that. Oh man, I did not hear. You didn't tell me about this sound engraver. Is this real? Is this real? Speaking of which, did anybody see that Gunn may do a Clayface film that ties in with the Matt Reeves universe? I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing of it from you. I don't know if that's real news or not, but it would make sense. And look at how many. That's James Gunn's focus. He likes the monsters, right? He calls this whole universe gods and monsters, which is a ridiculous take on the DC universe. Horrible, just betrays his lack of understanding of this character. But he did the creatures, creature commandos, and he's thinking about doing a Clayface. He's interested in monsters. This is James Gunn's, this is what he gets his kicks on. Why? What in the world made him think he was competent and qualified to do a Superman movie? I'll never understand it. Anyway. Nathaniel Lozball, did you see Klaus yet? Yes. Didn't expect that, did you? I actually watched it. I watched Klaus, and it was good. It was good. Very well written. I can understand why people, really liked it. At first, I didn't think I was going to like it. Even going through the movie, I could see how it was well written, very heartwarming and everything, but I don't like deconstruction type films. I don't like, he actually never really flew with the reindeer. It was just this one time they hit a ramp and somebody saw it and thought they flew and the story got around. I hate that kind of stuff. Now, the movie didn't, as you know, by the end of it, it's not like that. It actually is sort of a Santa Claus origin, So I thought it was going to go like that for a second. I was kind of like, oh man, what is this? But no, it didn't go like that. It was good. It was good. It's not my favorite, origin story for Santa Claus. It could be, right? I mean, if they ever did a sequel or whatever, maybe if they show him actually as the mythical Santa Claus. Now, when I see Santa Claus, he should be jolly, he should be magical, he should be joyful. And, this was a great, take on it. He was he had a great, beautiful heart, but he had loss, and he was, kind of opening up a little bit to the shell. But I don't want to see Santa Claus have to go through all that, just me. That's just me. But it was a very good film, very well written, very heartwarming for the season. So yeah, I saw it. I'm sure you're thrilled. Oh, man. Another super chat. Eldridge fan, thank you so much. Said, auteurs, imagine if instead of spending $200 million on The Acolyte, they awarded 2 million grants for fan films and canonized the best. It'd be great, right? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say auteur, it's French for author, basically. And was it Hitchcock? I think it might have been Hitchcock that it came about, starting to really be in use there. But in the classic Hollywood, like in the days with the big companies, MGM, the studios, you had a studio style of movie, and it really didn't matter who was directing the movie. If it came from this studio, it was this type of film. If it came from that studio, it was that type of film. And it wasn't until you got these auteur filmmakers, directors who started to place their own stamps on films. And that's kind of what we have today to a certain extent. So, if you go see a M. Night Shyamalan film, it's a certain type of film, right? They've got their own tropes, their own, because that's the way it is with authors, or artists, in the fine arts. I mean, you artists have their own themes, their own techniques, their own things that they tend to deal with in their work. And so there's nothing wrong with that in general, but you can't have somebody so fixated on their own stamp to work on such timeless characters. It doesn't work. It's not good. Yeah, good point there. Another super chat from Eldridge fan. Thank you. Said, worried about Miller's next Batman book. If it's set after Return and has Catwoman, could be a vector for feminist garbage. They always spring the woke on the second installment. You're right. Now, you are right. I'm not so worried about it myself because Miller's never burnt me like that. Doesn't mean he can't. Doesn't mean, it's the first time for everything, right? I kind of think, though, he's going to set the book, and I haven't looked at it. I don't think he's released where he's setting the book yet, but it's Revolution, Batman Revolution. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to set it either still between Batman and Batman Returns or like just after Batman Returns. And if he sets it just after Batman Returns, and he's already in the continuity of Sam Hamm's garbage comics, then he can't have Catwoman come back because she leaves, and in his in that stupid continuity, Sam Hamm's got her coming back much later, owning Batman in every way or whatever. I was just dumb. But anyway, I think I'm caught up on the super chats now. Yes. Okay. Let's move into some reviews now before I before I lose my voice here entirely. So first, as I promised, I'm going to segue in with some Superman reviews and recommendations here, and then we're going to get into some other stuff. I'm going to end with a holiday recommendation, which is really quite good. All right, so as I said, for the Batman old comics I've been reading, I was going into the 90s and rereading the Legends of the Dark Knight. So great, that classic run. I did pick up some holes, filled in some holes in my collection, so I've got the original Shadow of the Bat, the first part of that run, and that was great too. I'm going to go back to that. But as I said, for Superman, I did buy on my comic shop trip the other day. If you look at my long box shopping video, I got some of the Man of Steel run from the 90s, 94, with Simonson and Bogdanov. Really great stuff, but I really wanted to go back to the beginning of the Man of Steel run in the 80s with John Byrne. So I've got Man of Steel 1. This is the graphic novel that collects the first one. They've got like 9 sets of these that collect the Superman stories of that era. The first one is issues 1 through 6. And to set this up, I know Superman fans or comic book fans already know this, bear with me, but a lot of people don't. DC Comics did this, what I think is a really stupid move. They do their crises, their crisis on Infinite Earth, crisis on Earth, DC Crisis, and basically what their crisis is they have really cool names. We're doing this in the 70s. By the time of the early 80s, they had different Earths, in DC, different, universes. So on Earth 2, you could have this going on with Robin and Batman, and on Earth 3, you had this kind of Superman or whatever. And that's great. It's variety. Some of their Earth 2 was great. Some of their different Earths were great. But then Marv Wolfman, great writer, responsible for giving us a lot of great stuff, wrote this crisis because they were thinking, well, it's too complicated. It's too complicated for people to follow. We just need to have one Superman, one Earth. So the crisis basically just kills off all these other great Earths. So and DC keeps doing that in their popular media, whether it was the CW verse or their garbage animated movie of Crisis. The allure of it, or even Flash, even the Flash movie was kind of like this. It was kind of a thing. The allure of it is, hey, you get to revisit all of these other great characters from these great other worlds or great tellings or universes. Don't you want to come see that? But by the end of it, it's like, and we killed them all, and now you're left with just one. I'm like, DC, you suck. You suck. But anyway, the good thing that came out of Crisis in the 80s was in 1986, at the very least, they gave the characters to some truly competent storytellers. So as much as I don't like the idea of Earth 2 and 3 and all of that being obliterated, and it always comes back some which way or another, I really do love, for the most part, the direction they took the universe in. John Byrne had Superman, artist and writer, and John Byrne's entire run, he had some missteps, definitely. He infamously ended the run on a horrible choice. But for the most part, John Byrne's Superman run is so beautifully iconic. It is so wonderful. In fact, a lot of the images, if you're a classic image person of Superman, a lot of the images you've seen probably come from John Byrne's run. He really understood the character. He depowered him a little bit. And I'll fight anybody who tries to tell me that Superman's overpowered. I think if you're trying to tell the wrong story with him, yeah, obviously he's overpowered. But you can tell stories with him where he's not. But, he did get to the point where he was blowing out stars and stuff like that, just depending on what served the story here and there. So Byrne depowered him a bit. He can still fly into space, but he has to hold his breath, right? He needs oxygen or something like that, So it's a great retelling of the story. We have his origin retold here. At first, he doesn't understand that he's from Krypton. Pa Kent shows him the spaceship. He knows he's from space some which way, but he doesn't really know all of that yet. He'll find out later. Ma Kent makes the suit for him. It's brilliant. you can tell there's a lot of inspiration from the Donner film, because it was just, that was the Superman that was in people's consciousness, even though that was a Superman of the Silver Age very much, and we're going forward here into the to what they called the modern age at the time, or Bronze Age. Maybe it was Silver Age, Bronze Age. Sometimes those run together a little bit, but this was more the modern age Superman. It's just a brilliant run. The art is wonderful. In these issues 1 through 6, you get the first time he ever met Batman as well. There's a great time where he meets Batman. Great story in there of that. Him meeting Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor, doing the super suit and all of that. So it really just sets up so much. If you're a classic Superman fan, this just sets up so much of what you love, and I recommend it. And it's easy to grab too. You can go back and find, if you've got a good shop with long boxes, you can find Man of Steel issues 1 through 6 of John Byrne. But they're so easy to get. I've got all of these graphic novel collections, and this edition here, I don't know if they're still printed like this, but the pages are still that sort of newspaper print, which I love. I'm not a big fan of older comics in collections like this, and they print them on the slick pages, and it just doesn't feel like the old, print. So it's really great. I recommend that. I would also recommend, he did a one-shot, The World of Krypton, which is beautiful. And it's just sort of a history of Krypton at that point. I hate the fact that the only edition I have of this right now is a reprint they did when they were doing David S. Goyer's garbage Krypton series on Sci-Fi. So I've got an edition where they've got all the crap from their new Sci-Fi series of Goyer, but it's just a reprint of John Byrne's World of Krypton comic, which is pretty good too. It's just some backstory of Krypton and stuff, and a little different than Krypton had been in terms of look and feel, but the same basic idea, the same gist of it. So I do recommend John Byrne's Man of Steel run, at least part 1, okay? Part 1, I have no caveats. I love part 1. There are no parts in this where I'm saying, be careful of that one story arc in there. As I go through and as I start to review more of these and go through, they'll get to some points like, just skip the whole Big Barda story. That one was weird. I might have some caveats in that, but this one, true blue, iconic Superman. Love it. It's wonderful. You can find it. No nonsense, no shenanigans. It's good stuff. All right, let's check the chat here before I move on. Private Eye says, I have 2 versions of Man of Steel because one is regular print. The second one is hardcover with the first issue of the Supes run for some prologues, epilogues, Byrne and Giordano. Yeah, you got some great editions. There's even a little prologue art preface or something like that, but it's by Ray Bradbury, and I thought, oh wow, Ray Bradbury on Superman. But when you're reading, it's kind of painfully obvious that Ray Bradbury is not a Superman reader. He's just talking about the idea of Superman, and he's saying some nice fluffy things about science fiction and Superman or whatever, but I thought I was going to get a real awesome take, but the man's brilliant, but he can't write brilliance every time he put pen to paper. I have never heard of this, Moinus. The Quest for the Time Bird. Not a superhero comic, but very good in my opinion. Never heard of it. What kind of genre is it, if it's not a superhero comic? Excuse me. I don't like the New 52, Gentle Savage, but Dan Jurgens' work on Action Comics Rebirth, wonderful. It's wonderful to have him back. It's the thing that really... Now, I like Dan Jurgens' Action Comics Rebirth. That was great. But I truly, dearly loved Tomasi's Superman Rebirth run. That was so brilliant. It was so glorious. It was so fun. All these people who tried to defend the Superman and Lois show to me, I'm like, go back and read Superman Rebirth. That is how you do Superman well with a family. And for Dan DiDio to go, better mess that up. Better shake that up. Something's good, something's brilliant, something's lovely, and people are enjoying it. Better shake that up so we get new readers. I would never do this. But I fantasize sometimes about punching that man in the face. Dan DiDio fired way too late. It was far too little and far too late. And he crapped up so many great things at DC. But I'll move on. I could have my say on that for a while. Let's see. Man, I must have ranted about the trailer for a while. Here's one. Here's a recommendation that I teased. Sorry, but my throat's going a little bit, so I want to get through these recommendations, but I'll come back to comments. I was reading, I was partway into this last time. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, which came out, in the last couple of years with the whole Godzilla versus Kong movies and whatnot. And I really like this book. I really like this book. I thought it did a great job because it's a lot of moving parts, right? And there's a lot of people to try and please too, because you've got your fans more of Godzilla, your fans more of Kong, your fans more of the Justice League. For the Justice League, they truly did boil them down to their most iconic versions. The suits are the iconic. The only suit that's not quite iconic is Wonder Woman. For whatever reason, they're just always going to try and put Wonder Woman in that sort of armored skirt, which is at least better than pants. But just put her back in her classic costume, for crying out loud. But no, the relationships between the characters are brilliant. You've got Hal Jordan, you've got Flash and Green Lantern. Their relationship's great. I was impressed by how many members of the Justice League they brought into this story, and each one of them got their due. From Supergirl to Green Arrow, each one got their due. Even Red Hood, for crying out loud, who's not my favorite character at all. Everyone got their little moment, and got their moment that was important to the story, important to the plot. So it wasn't just gratuitous stuff. I love the way they handled, and I can see things. I can see people angry about this or that. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's a part they're able to subdue Godzilla for a certain amount of time. And I could see Godzilla fans going, "Oh, that would never work." It made sense to me that would work. It's nth metal. It's in a different universe than he's accustomed to. Superman is handling Godzilla, kind of, they're at a stalemate because they're both so powerful. But Shazam comes in and messes things up a little bit here, being overeager or whatever. And I won't give it too much away, but Godzilla's atomic breath really takes down Superman hard. And I could see some Superman fans going, what? No, it's from a different universe. Who knows what these effects might be, It honored the characters, in my opinion. Unless you're a Guy Gardner fan, which I'm not, so I don't care what that's about. I will just say this. I'll say this is the one slight spoiler, but hopefully it's a tease for anybody who's on the fence. This was good. I didn't think it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be just gratuitous garbage, I thought they weren't really going to stick with the iconic versions of the characters. But the whole thing spins around, Superman. You get this in the first page, Clark or Superman wanting to propose to Lois. So, I mean, it's iconic, But I'll just say this one tease to hopefully get you interested in reading it. You're going to see King Kong wield a Green Lantern ring at some point. That's all I'll say. If you're really super picky, like Eldritch fan, you would not like this. Because Eldritch fan is, he's got his very specific tastes, right? I wish I'd like to know what Fan Man would think of it, but he hasn't read it yet. But I liked it. I thought it was good. It's an Elseworlds. It's just a little one-shot series. It's not like, maybe they'll continue it with the new Godzilla Kong movies to come. Who knows? But I liked it. I'd recommend it. So, yeah, I knew Al would like that. You knew you'd love that, Al. You really would like this. Yeah, good to see you there. You really would like this. That run. It's good. I'll have to get it for you. It was good stuff. You guys are talking about Christmas movies. Somebody was saying something about Die Hard. I've never really watched Die Hard since I was a child, and I didn't, wasn't, not because I'd probably enjoy it, but action films, just action films alone, don't really catch my interest unless there's like a sci-fi element or something like that in there, So I don't really ever get into the argument of is it a Christmas movie or not, because I haven't seen it in so long. I mean, I'm leaning towards it's probably not. But I did watch Gremlins recently the other night. Rewatched Gremlins. I mean, I've seen that many times. We did a rewatch on my channel. And that is a Christmas movie, I would argue. It's not a Christmas movie like a traditional, Christmas movie, but that's a movie that embraces the Christmas season, the time. You couldn't tell the story of Gremlins at Easter. Gizmo couldn't be a birthday gift, and they had to be a Christmas gift, you know. And there's all these references to other Christmas movies. The town itself, you've got the dichotomy, the very It's a Wonderful Life like dichotomy of the poorer people and the Scrooge like, you know, landlords and whatnot. I mean, that's all part of the web, the fabric of the story, and it's great. And then the cutesy comedy element works and tells a part of the tale, and then the more horror element of the Gremlins tells a part of the tale. It's a wonderful movie. I don't think I'd watch it every Christmas. I haven't watched it every Christmas, but it was nice to get to watch it again. That was good. Batman Returns. I need to watch it again this year. Maybe I'll watch it tonight or tomorrow. But it was that's a fun movie that I watch at Christmas. I don't know if I could argue that it could only be told at Christmas time. I don't think that's the case for that one. But yeah, those are my kind of like go-to Christmas movies. You know, when people talk about the Die Hard stuff. Just fan talking about Resurrection, yeah, hinted at Catwoman with those lines that Bruce needs someone like him. You're right, yeah, and I like that line. And of course, you had Selena Kyle and Max Schreck in Resurrection long before the Batman Returns, you know, events had happened. Yeah, you were the one who brought up Die Hard, Imaginative Obvious. Yeah, no, I've got nothing against it, and one of these days I'll watch it again. But well, here's the thing, Leia Plus Size. The ring, if you know about the lore and Green Lantern rings, they adjust. When a ring chooses somebody, they adjust to whatever size they need to be on a person's finger. So, it was a pretty freaking awesome moment. Which you might sound random to some people, but that's a precedent set in those movies too, that Kong can use augmentation, you know, whether it's his mech arm, you know, in the New Empire, or the, you know, the axe that he wields, you know, in Godzilla vs. Kong. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. I'll have to get it for you, Big Al. You'd love it. You know, Ghost Planet Max Inc. You're talking about Fan Man. I'm with you there. I am with you there. I was telling Sound Engraver, I was telling Big Al, heck, I told Fan Man himself, I was like, I will be shocked if James Gunn's Galoot-Man doesn't bring you back out of retirement. Probably just for like one video at first. I'm just back here just to talk about this, guys, but you'll be back eventually. Because you got a lot to say about it. And I was like, dude, you're leaving me out here to fight all by myself. Zachary Barron, yes, that's a classic. Paul Dini's Peace on Earth, with Alex Ross's art, right? Wonderful, classic Christmas story. It's great. You know, Alex Ross isn't my go-to or even favorite artist for Superman. He can do Superman wonderfully. If you get an Alex Ross, Christopher Reeve inspired Superman, brilliant. But I really don't like the go-to look he likes to have for Superman in all of his work. It doesn't turn me off of all of his work. I still think Justice, him and Kruger's Justice, was just wonderfully classic. And that's iconic canon inspired by the Super Friends. I mean, that's a wonderful work. I like that even better than Kingdom Come, to be honest. Kingdom Come's a Elseworld and works by its own rules for that. But his Superman that he tends to draw, his go-to Superman, is just beaten down. You know, this character, you know, sitting in the chair, and you know, that's where Snyder took inspiration. That's where James Gunn took inspiration. That first costume reveal with him putting his boots on. Oh, looks like people are dying outside my window. Guess I'll get suited up. You know, like, screw you, James Gunn. But that comes from Alex Ross's inspiration. I really don't like Alex Ross's portrayal of Superman. I like so much of his stuff otherwise, and I like some of the stories, but I've never really liked his portrayal of Superman. But you don't get a lot of that on Peace on Earth, because Dini's telling a different kind of story with it. So it's, yeah, no, it is a classic story. I agree. Thank you, AL. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas as well. Appreciate you popping in to wish it to everybody. Horrid films. Yeah, I figured you'd be up for this. I watched the Gremlins movies so many times. I didn't need to see them again for a long time. Yeah, I do that with some films sometimes too. There are two movies that I watch well, there are a lot of Christmas movies if you count like The Grinch That Stole Christmas or something like that. But two films I insist on watching every single year at Christmas, and they just never get old for me. And I've done it every single year for I don't know how long. And Sound Engraver's in on it now too. She loves it. Christmas Eve night, the Alistair Sim Scrooge, the 1950 51, I forgot the year it was made. It actually had Patrick Macnee of the British show The Avengers. When he was a kid, he played in it as well. It was really, really great movie. It's my favorite adaptation of the Christmas Carol ever. It captures the spirit of it so well, and there are a lot of great adaptations of the Christmas Carol. I'm not saying this is the only one, but it's the one that just blows the other ones out of the water. For example, for my sake anyway. So I watch that every Christmas Eve with my dear wife now, and with my mother. And Christmas night, Ernest Saves Christmas. You can't go wrong. Ernest Saves Christmas. Classic. Watch it every single year. Never gets old. So brilliant. All right. Let's see. Let me get to my last review here, and then I'll check in with the chat again. See what you guys are saying. My last review is not a comic book. It's something I decided to reread this year because I hadn't read it in a while. Somebody was talking about it in the comments section and kind of put me in mind of it and reminded me of it again. And I knew that there's this translation that came out that I wanted to read. This is big for you King Arthur fans. I was, like many of you, I first read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight in high school and loved it. Got that it was very symbolic. It was very, I knew there was a lot there I couldn't quite tap into yet, but I got, I understood that it was going somewhere. And I really liked it. It's a story, even on the surface, it's a story about honor, keeping your word, about resisting temptation and so forth, And the epic poem, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, was written by this person who most scholars believe also wrote the poem The Pearl, which is another Old English poem. And they survive in Old English. Now, the versions that survive in Old English are from a translator, probably a monk. And the same translator translated both texts into Old English from whatever they were in before. And, being a Christian translator, they put some Christian spin on it and everything, which I think works beautifully. It's so perfect. And a lot of scholars think that it was the same initial writer too. They call him the Pearl, the Pearl writer, or the Pearl author or whatever. That's because they don't know his name. But I'd read some translations. Only in the last handful of years, though, J.R.R. Tolkien, Christopher Tolkien, released his translation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. So I picked it up. It's got his Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I think it also has the Pearl. Does this edition? No, this edition doesn't have the Pearl. But I read part of it and I listened to the rest of it on Audible. There's a great version on Audible as well. And it's a wonderful Christmas story. It has to take place at Christmas. It's very tied into Christmas themes. You'll appreciate even more if you're Catholic, but even if you're just plain Christian, you can really get a lot out of it. Or even if you're not Christian at all, you can get the basic goodness, the basic moral themes. Sir Gawain is a great aspirational hero in this. I mean, he makes one little mistake at the end that he decides he's going to learn from forever. But if you there's even the Knights of the Green Garter is an order of knights, in Britain today, and it comes from this story. Wonderfully symbolic. The setup of the story, of course, is that they're at a Christmas dinner, the Knights of the Round Table, and this knight comes in who's all green, and that's speaking right there to you get there. At the end, you realize they tell you why this knight's green and what's going on. Morgana's involved and all this kind of stuff. But the image of a green man is a callback to the pagan idea of the green man. The man in the wilderness who it's an idea, a symbolism of virility, not so much savagery, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Primitive, primal self, and whatnot. And he's challenging somebody to do this duel with him, kind of thing, or not really duel, but I don't want to give too much away. But a lot of the symbolism, there's a boar hunt going on at the same time. Gawain's trying to resist this temptation from this man's wife, and you can see the two like pearls before swine, the symbolism that's going on there. It's so well done. It's so well crafted. And I hadn't read it in ages, and it was so fun to read Tolkien's translation. Tolkien's translation really tries to preserve the poetry of it. I'd read translations before that are more just sort of like, here's the story of it, but Tolkien tries to really preserve the poetry of it as well. So, if you got some time over, you got some break time over Christmas, sit down and read this, or at least pick it up on Audible and listen to it. It's a great read. They're Gawain and the Green Knight. I specifically recommend Tolkien's translation. Wonderful Christmas story. Really is a great one. And not like a Christmas story in the way that, other Christmas movies, we don't label it a Christmas story. You can read it any time of year, but I think Christmas is pretty integral to the plot, into the themes. It's really good. So I recommend that as well. Okay. Let me check into the chat. That's all the reviews I've got for you tonight. I do have a lot of stuff to read, though, in the review coming up. And I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to keep on giving you guys, shining the light on different wonderful stories from the past that maybe you can check out. Maybe you'll like, maybe you won't. But there's so much to read. There's no reason you need to run to the movie theater or run to the comic store every time, a new comic drops or whatever. This or that, like the Godzilla versus Kong versus Justice League, that was new. And I tentatively tried that. Not as soon as it came out. I waited for it to get all collected, and I tentatively tried that, and it ended up liking it. So yeah, here and there something new can slip through, but people are just addicts to content. They just want new stuff, and we need to try and curb that. So the more we can talk about, and the more we can celebrate and make it, into the public consciousness, more of these great old stories, and the more Hollywood will realize, the more publishers will we just turn our backs on them. We stop giving them attention. I'm fully in disagreement with this idea that, look, we have to support the good stuff and then not support the bad stuff, and we give them the message and they learn from their mistakes. That doesn't work. All they do is learn how to throw you bones and to keep you invested, and they get these channels out there that have learned that they can make a lot of money by reviewing each and every little episode and every little movie. Even if they're trashing it from top to bottom, they're keeping it relevant. They're putting it out there. The ignoring them is the only way to do it. And what do you do while you're ignoring them? Open up this plethora of wonderful stories that you've got at your fingertips. So great. Okay. Yes, Sound Engravers reminded me her stream is tomorrow. If you didn't check out, there is a green. Oh, sorry. I'll get back to Sound Engraver stream in a second. This is Chozo's Corner reminded me, that there was a recent film, I think, to a Green Knight film. Al watched it because Al watches everything, regardless of quality. Can't remember if he liked it or not, but again, that wouldn't necessarily be a indicator that I would like it. The trailer didn't look great. I didn't like the trailer I saw, but I never watched the movie, so I'd like to know if the movie was any good. Yeah. So, Santa Megatron. Yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Or was it Sound Engraver stream? Yeah, she's going to set it up. Last week, she started talking about AI art, and it was all kind of a setup for what's coming tomorrow night. You're really going to get her her real thoughts. I think she's going to go on a rant, which will be pretty fun to hear tomorrow's stream. So check out that. Yeah, Samuel Proctor liked Sir Gawain the Green Knight. Imaginative Hobbyist. What are your thoughts on the pairing of Superman and Wonder Woman? To be honest, I'm not a fan. Superman not being with Lois Lane feels off to me personally. I agree. If Lois Lane's there, she belongs with Superman, not Wonder Woman, period. Something like Kingdom Come, where you're telling sort of an Elseworlds tale years down the line, Lois is past at that point. Okay, yeah, I can buy Superman and Wonder Woman at that point in that sort of Elseworlds type universe, but no. Superman belongs with Lois. Wonder Woman belongs with Stephen Trevor. I dearly love George Perez's Wonder Woman. It's so beautiful. The one glaring mistake, and I don't know if this came from Perez or just dictated from on high, was that they nixed the Steve Trevor romance. And you can make an argument that maybe it kind of had to go at that point because of all the stuff. I don't buy that argument, but she belongs with Steve Trevor. That's an integral part of her story. I don't buy making him old or anything, but I love so much else about that run. It was brilliant. But anyway. Yes, Zachary, you're right. Yeah, Tolkien's essay on fairy stories actually did a whole can't remember if it was on this channel or maybe my other, the Catholic Bible Geek channel. I talked about his essay on fairy stories, and we were doing some reviews of Tolkien's work, and yeah, it's good. Santa Megatron. I always love dog and A art, so I'll be there. He says, yeah, yeah. I love AI art if it's a gag. Like I love watching videos where they're like, what if this movie was made in the 50s, and they'll show like a trailer or whatever. That's fun, right? People who try to pass off AI art as though it's really art, nope, it's not. You're not an artist. You're a button pusher, And they try to make all these silly explanations. Well, it's no different than if you're doing, use a pencil. Pencil's a tool. ARt's a tool. No, it's not. It's not even remotely the same thing. Stand back and listen to it yourself. Anyway, I'll let her go off on that. But yeah, I agree. AI art's fun as a joke, as something, whatever. But I'm not a proponent of AI in any kind of serious, to be taken seriously as art. I just don't buy it. Anyway, yeah, he's right. Yeah, it's too derivative. Yeah, because art's just plagiarizing everybody else's writing or artwork or whatever. Yeah. As Joseph said, the reason why Wonder Woman is partnered with Superman as lovers is because nothing is known about Wonder Woman besides she exists. You're right. That's such a great point. I've said this before, that, take the DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They're all very well known, but in terms of Wonder Woman, most people just know her as the female superhero, or they recognize the visual, the iconic, and very few people in the public actually know much about her story. That's one of the reasons why the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman movie was able to do so well, because people just didn't understand what the real Wonder Woman was. And I try and tell them why that movie fell so short in every which way, and they didn't even get it. They didn't even care, because they're like, who cares? What is Wonder Woman? No, Wonder Woman needs to be an emissary sent from Themyscira to man's world. She needs to be, patroned in there, sent off by her mother with a mission. She doesn't run away from with a boy, like that movie. Oh, don't get me started. All right. Santa Megatron said the Justice League cartoon made me like Batman with Wonder Woman. Seems like the most healthy relationship Bruce could have compared to Catwoman or Talia. I agree. Batman works way better with Wonder Woman than Superman does, but I still think Batman needs Catwoman, a reformed Catwoman in the end. I think that makes the most sense. But I could buy Batman with Wonder Woman a lot more than I can with Superman. Yeah, because there's the Wonder Woman's the incredible feminine ideal that Batman symbolically is fighting for, in the loss of the mother idea. And Batman is the bad boy who's not really a bad boy. So it makes sense that Wonder Woman would fall for it. I can buy that relationship a lot more. And the DCAU did some moments with that was more interesting, yeah. Yeah, I agree, Horde Films. You definitely need to watch that. Are you talking about the Alistair Sim I was talking about? I mean, there are a lot of great versions of the Christmas Carol, and ones that add this or that here and there, but the Alistair Sim one's my favorite. All right. Yeah, I agree, Eldritch fan. People don't read. They just want visuals. Yeah. But the strength of a story can carry the visuals. Exactly, yeah. I mean, if you're reading a book, people don't know how to read anymore. Just the average, younger generation, they've lost that capability to be able to sit down and focus on one thing, to picture it in their mind. They don't have that capability. Technology's ruined that for them. The younger generation, they've grown up being able to, everything's multitask, handed to them visually, all this kind of stuff. Yes, Sound Engraver, you mentioned Batman Noel. I should have given a better... I've talked about Batman Noel before. It's so brilliant. I got it over there. Sound Engraver just read my copy. I didn't pull it down here. I forgot about... but Batman Noel is a wonderful holiday read. I've talked about it before on my channel a lot, actually. I'll have to go back and find an older review I did of it and maybe repost it. It's a Christmas Carol take on Batman, sort of an Elseworlds-like take. And it's also a meta commentary on when Batman gets too brutal. And in Libra Mayhew's beautiful art, it's great. That's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful recommended holiday read. Batman Noel. Pick that up if you can. It's good stuff. All right, my voice is going. I'm gonna go enjoy myself on my Christmas break, kick back and hang out with my dear wife, watch some good movies and play some good games, get some dinner. Haven't had dinner yet, but you guys are always fun to chat with. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will cut out some of these as their own videos. I'll also put out an original video using some of the footage from the Batman Arkham Origins. I meant to talk about that a little bit tonight, as I kind of teased at the beginning, but I forgot to. But my voice is going now, so I'm gonna need to wrap it up. So I'll put out that. I'll record it tomorrow or something and put that out for the holiday week because it needs to come out before Christmas, I think. So yeah, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, a wonderful holiday week. Enjoy yourself with some good story. Treat yourself to some really good story this week, whether it's a Christmas story, whether it's Christmas Carol, or whether you're going to some great comics, maybe some of the ones I recommended tonight or in previous videos. Stories define us, stories inspire us, stories create us in some ways, psychologically. We need story. We are built from story, we're made for story, we are story. You need to go find some good quality stories with some good quality archetypes doing the work that they should be doing in our culture. That's my plea to you this holiday season. Take it out with a super chat here from Dr. Y. Thank you, Dr. Y. Appreciate it. Said, for Trekkie fans, my dad came across a newer version of A Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart playing Scrooge. He does fairly well in the role. I've heard about that a lot. I've still never watched it. But yeah, that is one that I've heard a lot of people say too, is good. So that maybe. All right. Thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas to you all. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true blue Halloween. Or no, sorry. I got distracted. I was looking to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. And I don't think I did. It's not Halloween, Prof. It's not Halloween. Thank you for watching. Till next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true blue, let's say Christmas stories this time, that you love best. Thanks for watching.